Hi guys, welcome back. So 10 winners, 10 losers from round 2 of the Rugby Championship. Now when I say winners and losers, it could be because of performance, it could be because maybe they've increased or decreased their standing in the squad, i.e. they're more likely or less likely to make the starting team in the World Cup or the squad for the World Cup. So it could be a lot of things. I'm not putting them in order of how much a winner and a loser are they. It's just kind of a way of talking about the players without going through every single player. So don't freak out if I haven't mentioned a player that should be in the list. Please put in the comments who you think should be in the list and why. It's just a way of reviewing player performance and some interesting things that have come up from the round. So obviously we had New Zealand with a massive first half, a fantastic performance, beating South Africa. And then we had a ding-dong battle between Australia and Argentina. It looked like Australia had just nicked it at the end with that length of the pitch interception try from Noah Quantuwazi, but then Gonzalez came back and won it for Argentina. So tough one for Australia to take, but that was pretty tight as well. And then South Africa were a lot more competitive, a lot better in the second half. So definitely positives and negatives for both teams there. So let's get into it. Winners, number 1. I'm cheating straight away, but it's my list. I'm putting number 1 as the New Zealand front 5 unit. They were going up against the best scrummaging team in the world, possibly the best front 5 in the world in South Africa. It was their acid test, as we talked about in the preview shows, and they absolutely passed and maybe even edged it in certain areas. De Groot, Taylor, Lomax in the front row were fantastic. That scrum was rock solid and winning penalties. De Groot and Lomax are nailed on. Taylor, I think, definitely now is the starter. That was a really good performance for him. And then in the engine room, Retallick was absolutely on fire. His line-out work was imperious, getting involved in all the physical stuff. And Scott Barrett is an undroppable player. Now he's in the second row as well. No, he's looking just as good as he would at 6. So that New Zealand front 5 passed their test. It looks like the starting front 5 to me. Number 2, let's add in another New Zealand forward. Shannon Frizzell at 6 was amazing. The best I've ever seen him play. Absolutely bulldozing. His finish for his try was amazing. The way he just swatted aside Villy Leroux. So good. He had to make a statement because if Whitelock comes back into the starting team, Scott Barrett would probably knock him out of his spot. So I think he might have nailed down a starting spot with that. That was impressive. Number 3, another guy that was under pressure for his starting spot, Richie Mo'unga. He came in and he kicked beautifully. He ran the show. He looked confident, which is what I said in the last game when he came on. He didn't look confident. He looked so confident in this game. His try, his speed, whizzing around from the back of the scrum, that was amazing as well. Every part of his game looked on point, and he said, no, I am still the starter. Damien McKenzie, Beauden Barrett, you're going to have to wait in line. So Richie Mo'unga making the statement, he is the starter. On to the last New Zealander on this list, and I'm putting Will Jordan on there. He's had a bit of a torrid time with injuries, but he came back into the starting team and was just phenomenal. You can see the talent. He goes past players, his skill, his high ball work, his kicking. He's all round a genius player, probably their best of their young backs, I think, coming through. He has to play somewhere on the wing. He looked great, but he could play at fullback as well. But he said, I am the man. I have to be in this New Zealand back 3. Then on to a couple of South African players. I think RG Snyman has made some big statements when he's come back. I just love seeing him fully fit after his terrible knee injury. He's come back and he looks as good as ever, maybe even better. Is he a starter? Now, I know South Africa have a lot of depth in the forwards and they can leave great players on the bench and then bring them on for a massive impact. But is he so good? He needs to start, maybe alongside Etzebeth come World Cup time. But big winner. He has made a statement, as has Quagga Smith. Now, Quagga Smith has been, the nearly man, the sub on the bench, but with Khaleesi being injured, they tried Van Staden, who looked good, and then Quagga Smith has had his go at open side and was unbelievable. Just hunts everything, swoops up any loose balls, always a menace, very quick, very versatile as well. And I think he said, look, if Khaleesi isn't fit for the World Cup, I am your best starter. Great statement for them, making all those guys in that list so far. They're saying, look, pick us, we should be starters. I love that. Number 7, putting in a couple of Australians. Carter Gordon once again has said, I am the talent in this team at 10 as a playmaker. Again, completely overshadowed Quade Cooper. And he came on at 12, which is always a tough gig for a fly half, and he looked great, to be honest. He's got the physique for 12. If they want to play two playmakers, he's the man. And I think he's saying, I have to start somewhere in this team. Is he going to take over Quade Cooper's place? Starting to put some pressure on. Another guy that's come in to make a statement, well, Vunivalu was dropped for Marky Mark Nanaquanatuwazi, and he was phenomenal. And I love the way he said, I'm going to take this game by the scruff of the neck and get involved all the time because I'm that good, I can make the difference. And he really did. And his interception at the end was a case in point where they were on the ropes. Australia were completely on the ropes. Argentina were there, to finish them off really. And he said, no, I'm going to win this game. And unfortunately it didn't, but he did everything he could. He has to start on the wing or one of the wings for Australia. Then finishing off on two Argentinians, they got their win. And let's give one of the winners to Gonzalez, who got the winner. Now, it was strange him playing 8. I didn't like him playing 8. But again, I think he says, I am a man who has to start somewhere. One of the flanks. I mean, surely it's Matera and Gonzalez as the flankers. He's an athlete. He's a big guy. He's good in the line-out. He can do absolutely everything. And he's shown he's a match winner. And the same with number 10. Their match winner in the backs is absolutely Mateo Carreras. His try was phenomenal. The numbers were there for Australia. He just cut through them like butter. And there's not too many guys in that Argentinian team that can do that. The back line is okay. Maybe not express pace, but he is the guy. Isgro looked pretty decent as well on his debut. So those are my winners. I'm sure there's plenty more you could talk about. Let me know in the comments. Now on to the losers list. And I'm a bit sorry that this guy is on here just because I thought he might be at some point. Tom Wright is so talented. He's quick, he's skillful, he can do amazing things, but he tries some crazy stuff sometimes. His fumble, his bad pass, a couple of errors really made the difference for Australia there, putting them in bad positions. And as much as he's a great player who can score great tries, great counterattacks, he can lose you a game as well. And that's just something for Eddie Jones to think about. At number 2, another Australian, Jed Holloway, had his chance at blindside, but didn't really do a lot. A couple of carries. There's a big issue at blindside there, big issue in the pack for Australia. Who's going to be the man? Is there going to be a bit of switching around? I don't know, but we'll see. He definitely didn't say I am the man there. I'm going to put Quade Cooper in there. I've mentioned him already as well at number 3, and he's in danger of losing his spot to Carter Gordon. He is experienced. He's kind of doing okay-ish. He kicked pretty well last game, but he's just not having the impact on the game he used to, which is hard maybe when your pack isn't quite what it used to as well. Just an overall comment as well. Those two fly halves have no backup in the squad at the moment. I think their best backup is Lolosio, but he's not been included in the squad and said, well, stuff this, I'm going to go to France and take a World Cup cover, take a good payday. And that leaves you with just Foley and O'Connor, who play for the A team and really didn't look great. They're getting on a bit. They don't have the cutting edge. So if one of these guys, Cooper or Gordon, gets injured, I think that's a big issue as well, plus Cooper not firing it. Another Australian at number 4 is Richie Arnold. Just because I think, well, yes, he got the yellow card, which didn't help. He didn't really make a much impact. I think one carry. You want these big guys making an impact. I think Skelton did, but there could well be some changes in the second rows. The likes of Salakai Lotto in the A squad. We could see Richie Arnold, who's just come into the squad, actually drop out of it again. He needs to make a big statement, and soon. On to some South Africans. Now, Damian Willemse at 10. You guys all said in the comments, not quite sure. He's an absolute 10. I agree with you. He's an amazing all-round player, probably the best number 23 that South Africa has. But as a starting 10, he doesn't look confident. He doesn't look assured. And they take his kicking away. They don't trust him to kick, which when you have a 10, you need them to be able to do the kicking, really. That's part of why they're there. I don't like it when other people take kicks to touch and kicks at goal. It's kind of like, well, what's the point? But I think Libbok's going to get another run there. And if Pollard comes fully fit, he obviously starts. But Willemse starting at 10, yeah, not sure. At 6, Damian Diolande, again, he's just fading a bit. He's still, a solid player. He's very experienced, but he doesn't have that impact that maybe he used to have. And Andre Esterhuizen, he could well come in and take that spot because he has that explosive power that maybe Diolande is losing. Then Jasper Wiese got a start and didn't really make the impact. He's there to carry, to get over the gain line, and he made some mistakes. He didn't get over the gain line as much as he used to. We've got obviously Vermeulen there, who's ready to roll, very experienced, playing very well. We haven't seen Rus yet as well, so Wiese needed to make an impact there, didn't, as did Mostert. If he wants to start, he had to have a huge game, because getting in over Pieter-Steph du Toit is pretty tricky anyway, but he didn't. Pieter-Steph du Toit came on and looked fantastic, so that's basically his starting chances there gone, I would say. At 9 is Mark Talia. He had a fantastic Super Rugby season. He is a great player, but to get into this All Blacks back 3, he needed to have a good game, I think, and he just didn't really. Didn't make much in attack, quite quiet, got caught out for Colby's try, a really bad high tackle when there was no need. So he maybe will have one more chance, otherwise there's other guys begging to get into that back 3. And at number 10, I'm afraid again, I'm putting together the Argentinian half-backs. I had Bertranou in there in the last game. They're just so quiet. Bertranou's really not breaking. He's not the threat that the other 9s in the competition are. And Carreras at 10 just isn't doing a lot. Like I said, there's only a few players in that back line that are really sparking it. I think they need a bit more firepower if they're going to do something special in the World Cup. I'm not sure they've got any better players, but it's just a bit disappointing. We need a bit more from them. So that's my list of winners and losers, talking about some of the issues, some of the players from that round 2, and I'd love to know what you guys think. Get it all in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.